Sides, totals, best bets, props, all that good stuff. You're in the right place right here on PuckTime. Welcome into WagerTalk TV. We have 3 games to break down. Best bets at the end of the show. I'm Andrew. I have Carmine and Don Buster with me. Today we're breaking down the Wild, Bruins, Golden Knights, Hurricanes, and the Rangers taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. A jam-packed Tuesday here in the NHL. Also a jam-packed Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. Every single play that you find available over at WagerTalk, at least one per handicapper, listed at just $2. So make sure you head on over if you're interested in buying a play in the NBA, NFL, college football, NHL, soccer, UFC, whatever it might be. Today is the day to dip your toes in the water and get it for just $2. But Carmine, let's not waste any time. Let's jump in and talk some Minnesota Wild hockey once again today as they take on the Boston Bruins. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, Andrew. Listen, and thanks to all the guys with the comments yesterday on the videos and the show, man. It was absolutely awesome. This is an interesting one, Andrew. And you sent me a tweet from a guy here in Toronto yesterday, Steve Simmons, who talks about Marc-Andre Fleury not getting the call in Pittsburgh, and people were comparing the coach to Mike Babcock. He's not Mike Babcock. He is a coach of a team that started off badly, made a coaching change, brought him in. He won 7 of 9 games, and the guy is trying to get his team in a position to be in the playoffs, and he's going to start the goalie that best gives him the chance to do so. And in that case, last night, it was Gustafsson. They didn't get the win, of course. Pittsburgh wins that game 4-3. But it was the right decision. Fleury hasn't announced that he's retiring, not that I have seen, anyways. But so Fleury's confirmed in goal tonight against the Boston Bruins, and the Bruins are coming off that loss to the Rangers. This total's sitting at 5.5. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, guys, but if Fleury was at all pissed off about not being in goal last night in Pittsburgh, especially if he had some family there, but I didn't hear anything of that. Maybe he leaves the 5-hole open a few times tonight, and this shoots over that 5.5 total. The one thing about the Wild this year, 0-4 this season in the second of a back-to-back, and that's what they're in tonight. And you had the Bruins coming off an OT loss, one in which they played extremely well against the Rangers, but they lose it in OT. Rangers tie it. I think they tied it late and win it in OT. Bruins got to be the player just because of the fact that Wild just have shown they're not very good on the second of a back-to-back. But I'm not laying 200. You can look at the regulation line in this one, and that's probably the way to go. And because that total has dipped from, if you look at the Wager Talk live lines, there's still a little bit of 6s out there, but 5.5 is now the consensus number that has popped up on our screen. I wouldn't put it past seeing this total go over the total. If it's all marking goal tonight for the Bruins, he's having a good year. Not as great as he did last year, where he was lights out at the beginning, and I don't think he lost the game for the first 2 or 3 months. But he has his games, his last 6 games that he has played, 5 of them have gone under the total: 5-4, 5-3, 3-1 against the Sabres, a game in which they lost 3-1. 4-3 against the Leafs, 5-2 against Columbus, and 7-4 against the Rangers. So those are, I don't want to call them troubling numbers, but they're not the numbers we saw from Allmark last season. So he's not confirmed yet. But if he's the goalie tonight and this total's at 5.5, I'm going to go over the total. Buster, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, Carmine, I know about Steve Simmons and all that with his articles back in the day. He's been around for a while. I'm not sure what he said. I'm not going to sit here and get into a discussion about the Fleury situation. You've made it clear on how you feel. If I'm Marc-Andre Fleury, yeah, I'm pretty pissed off because I think that is, I know you said you felt that was a better spot for them to win, use them, but I don't know, against Pittsburgh, Fleury Nutt, I think he's playing his better game than he's going to play, like you just said, against Boston. And actually, I'm with you. I like the over as well, and partly because Fleury's playing. As you said, Boston 190. Geez, that's a tough. There's no way I could bet the Bruins at 190 or 200, whatever they are. But They probably are for, I don't know if for a good reason. I think it's way too high, but they have had Minnesota's number. They've won 8 of the last 10 against the Wild, and Minnesota comes here off a back-to-back, and that's that dreaded 3 games in 4 nights. And playing less than 24 hours after the loss to Pittsburgh, I'm not sure if there was any problems. Like I say, we wouldn't hear that kind of stuff if guys are pissed off that Fleury didn't get a chance to play in Pittsburgh. But it doesn't really matter here because I think the over is the play now that it has dropped to 5.5 for sure. Because Boston, you know what? They haven't really been playing the best themselves. They're actually kind of doing that zigzag that you guys like to talk about every once in a while in the last 6 games. They've one loss, one loss, one loss. So, geez, don't want to lay that kind of money. You might want to lay regulation, but I actually, like I say, I like the total here. They've actually, when these teams get together, they're actually 4-1-1 the last 6 games to the over. So that's good. And what also helps, besides Fleur being in net, and you mentioned about Allmark a bit, Carmine, is that Minnesota's penalty kill is horrific. 29th in the NHL. So Boston at home, you usually get a little more power plays for the home team. So I think that's going to help. I agree with you. Just a brutal spot for Minnesota here. I like the over 5.5 for sure.
All right, looking for some goals in that one. And you guys both touch on the fact that it's been quite the crowded schedule for the Minnesota Wild as of late. And for that reason, it's going to be a rare regulation play for me on the Boston Bruins here. Minus 130, 135 ballpark is what I'm seeing. As you guys all know, for most of the time this season, if I like a team in a spot like this, I would just look towards the team total play. Boston's one of those teams that I have circled right now as a team that I might be a little bit more hesitant to fire those team total plays on, as they certainly are a team that can win low-scoring contests. Of course, with both Allmark and Swayman, especially Allmark, they do have the talent defensively as well, despite some injuries, to win lower-scoring style of hockey games. Now, I mentioned this on yesterday's show, but I'll mention it again. I've become a huge fan of the analytics this year, but more so on a shorter scale. Right? If you find me a stat or something about a player or a team from the 3rd week of October, I'm going to tell you it does not matter because that was so long ago. Same thing in the NFL, right? Things get broken up in quadrants, right? Teams can be different 1 week compared to a month ago. Well, since December 1st, the Boston Bruins have the 3rd worst expected goal fors percentage in the league. Minnesota, the 2nd worst expected goals for. So both teams aren't really creating much offense right now. The defense has been the bread and butter. And I lost on the under yesterday in a Minnesota game. But, I potentially would actually look towards maybe a Minnesota team total under if I do like the Boston Bruins side. That way I can find a plus price on that under 2.5. So regulation, for the Bruins or team total under, something for me to fade this Minnesota team because their defense is going to come crashing down and people are going to realize it actually wasn't really their offense that was performing well. It was strictly just their defense. And when a new coach takes over and he tells you, you have to just park the bus, you have to sit back, you have to get a 2-goal lead and sit back, that works. But when you don't get that lead, when you go down in the first period, when you play one of the best teams in the league like Boston, it's not always that easy. And I think that looking at these numbers, right now, the Bruins and the Wild are they're right next to the Blackhawks, the Ducks, the Blue Jackets, in all their advanced offensive numbers since the start of December. So they're not creating much offense. I don't blame you guys. I don't blame you, Buster, with the 5.5 because geez, you don't see those 5.5s much anymore. And I like betting those over as well. It's not hard to get to 6 goals these days in the NHL, but I'm going to look towards Boston and regulation for my play on this one. And just think that the struggle on the back-to-back and the 3 and 4 will really hurt Minnesota in this spot.
Yeah, and Andrew, you look at this game and you talked about it as far as Boston's their XG numbers. And, I talked about with specifically about Allmark, and of course he's not confirmed for tonight, but his game's going over the total. The Bruins are also, and I didn't expect this, but the Bruins have also allowed the 6th most shots on goal. And you don't expect that from a Bruins team. You always think very good defensive team, a team that plays a 200-foot game. They're not going to allow a lot of shots on goal, but lo and behold, there they are, top six. I think it's just under 33 shots on goal per game that they allow. So you allow those, and some of those are going to go in, especially if your goalies aren't playing as well as you expect them to play, and that's more on Allmark than Swayman. I like the way Swayman's played this year, so I kind of like that 5.5. And like as one of our regulars in the chat said, UC Panda, those 5.5s. Sometimes they get there. That 3-2 game, you get the empty netter, and it becomes 4-2 very quickly. Before we go to the next game, a quick happy birthday to one of the guys in our chat. What a name, Silas the Virus. That sounds like quite an evil name there. Happy birthday to you, fella. And Andrew, back to you.
And while we're giving out a happy birthday shout outs, we got to give a happy birthday, a belated birthday to Joe Ranieri, who runs things all behind the scenes for us. It was his birthday over the weekend. And, we wouldn't be running this show without him, that's for sure. So, and you guys all know Joe from all the shows he's on as well. So happy belated birthday to Joe as well. Guys, let's jump into our second game. We've got the Carolina Hurricanes and Vegas Golden Knights going head-to-head here. It should be a great one, Buster. We've got Carolina at home in this contest. Currently looking at the odds here, we're seeing -130 home favorites here for the Canes. Total, of course, at 6 in this one. What are your thoughts, Buster?
Yeah, Carmine has picked a couple of real tough handicap games today. This one might be the best game of the night, but another one coming up is a pretty good game as well. These teams seem to be going, though, in the opposite directions. Vegas has now won 7 of their last 9 games, and they have been really good on the road, too. They've won their last 3 on the road. In Carolina, geez, I don't know what to make of this team. I really like them as a team. They seem to outplay teams all the time. They can score a bunch of goals, but then they struggle to score goals. And it's been a struggle for Carolina. They've now are like 3-7 in their last 10 games. And like I say, they outplay teams, but they've been getting some really bad goaltending. So bad that Anthony Ranta doesn't have a job anymore. He but was put on waivers and passed through waivers, so he's not even with the team anymore. Again, just 2 teams going in the wrong directions. I really don't want my money on a side here. I just think it's too tough of a game to pick a side. But I do like the over. It looks like we're going to have a theme today on overs, but I do like the over here because, as you guys said, 6 is an easy number to get to in today's NHL. The last couple of years, never mind. Carmine mentioned like 3-2. Well, there's been games 3-1 that I've had under 6.5, and they end up 5-2. The team scores makes it 3-2, pull their goalie 4-2, pull their goalie 5-2. I mean, within 3-4 minutes. So it's just that's the way the way the teams are coaches are pulling their goalies these days. That's just today's NHL. So I do like it over. Vegas has went over the total in 6 straight games. And Carolina do tend to play unders, but I really believe they got to start scoring some goals here. They got to start playing more offensive because this game of playing pretty good defense and outplaying teams just isn't working for them. Bottom line, it's just not. When these 2 teams get together, the last 7 games, 4 overs, 2 unders, and a push. So kind of like that. I think there's a lot of firepower on the ice tonight. As I say, 6 is an easy number to get to. It's a key number in the NHL in totals. Give us the over.
Looking for some goals. Who doesn't like cheering on high-scoring games, Buster? I know I do. And when you got 2 teams like this going head-to-head, it's fun to cheer on some entertaining hockey and hope they can fill the net. And both teams playing really well offensively right now. Hurricanes picking things up, at least, Carmine. They had a really tough schedule to start off their season. I feel like it's kind of slowed down a little bit for them. But here they are at home this time against the Golden Knights. What do you have, Carm?
Yeah, originally I was leaning to like the under in this game just because, Carolina, as far as like Kochetkov he's been good. I think his last 3 games he's allowed a single goal in those games, but I think one was possibly in relief. But he's played well, and Carolina's off back-to-back home losses. You don't normally see this team lose 3 in a row. And I get it's the Vegas Golden Knights coming to town, likely Thompson in goal, but like minus 135. It's kind of like the Pittsburgh game yesterday, where I thought it was a nice buy low spot on the Penguins, and they got the win. It didn't look good after they blew that 3-0 lead, but they scored that fourth and winning. Um, this goalie's playing well. I don't even know who the backup is for Carolina right now because I didn't see any news. I saw when Ranto was sent down, he cleared waivers, sent down to the Chicago Wolves. Um, there was nobody named coming up, so I'm not sure because Freddie Anderson is still on the IR, I believe, with that illness. But I got to like him here at minus 135. I have to believe they're going to play one of their better games tonight. And even that game against, you look at it, they caught the Nashville Predators, who are on a great run. And I took the Predators in that game on Friday night. Plus, I think they were like plus 145. I took them to continue that run. I didn't think they would lose to the Washington Capitals because the Caps hadn't been playing well. But if you don't score or you only get one, you're not going to win many games when you only score one. I think they beat the Vegas Golden Knights tonight, and I think it's a buy low price on the minus 135. I wish Johnny Detroit, if you're watching this, tell me in the chat. Kochekov's first name is Piotr. I'm pretty sure that translates to Peter. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but is Piotr Kochekov, isn't that first name not Peter in Polish?
Of course.
I believe it is. But is it?
Yes, I think
Andrew,
so.
are you certain? All right,
Yes.
so we're going with Peter Kochekov tonight and the Carolina Panthers at minus Carolina Hurricanes, minus 135 to get the win over Marco D'Angelo and Brian Leonard's Vegas Golden Knights. That's my play on this game.
I like it. And you guys mentioned the goaltenders for Vegas. I find it so interesting because Kochetkov, or however you pronounce it, I'm poor with names sometimes, but you look at the goaltending, and Buster, you mentioned Ranta being sent down or waived. I remember like a year or two ago, people were wondering if Kochetkov could cut it in the NHL, and now all of a sudden, like you have Ranta being moved. It goes to show really what development can do for a player in the AHL, especially goaltending. And I've seen a lot of people wish that Devin Levi from the Buffalo Sabres had more time in the AHL. Like, in my opinion, if there's one position that needs to be developed in the AHL, it's goaltending. You can't rush a goaltender into the NHL. And I think that the Carolina Hurricanes did a great job with him. And obviously he's having success with that now. I spoke in the first game about the expected goal numbers since December 1st. So I will mention that expected goal for, this is actually quite the opposite of the first game we spoke about with those teams I said were near the bottom of the league since December 1st. You have the Carolina Hurricanes guys that are number 3 overall in the entire league, expected goals for. Vegas, number 5. So both them are creating all kinds of chances. And isn't that interesting that, Carolina has 3 wins in their last 10 games, but yet they're number 3 overall in December in expected goal for. So I think things start to turn around for them. This is a team that I believe in. And honestly, if you guys are interested in any futures on them right now, I actually think it'd be a good time to jump in because they aren't playing great hockey. They're going to get better. And I think it's better for them to go through the regression and the problems they're going through right now than later on in the season. Like, this is the time that you want teams like Carolina, in my opinion, to go through troubles like that. When I look at this Carolina team from the past, they've always coasted through the season, gone through some adversity near the end of the year, and then kind of ran into trouble in the playoffs. If they can go through a slump right now, I think it actually benefits this team. And you look at this Vegas Golden Knights team, when they have played some decent opponents, they have given up some goals, right? And they play a team like Ottawa even. They still give up a handful of goals as well and play in a fast-paced game. I don't have the road and home splits in front of me, but something tells me Vegas has certainly been a better home team. Don't quote me on that exactly, but I like Carolina here. I think they're going to get settled in at home, and I like their team total up and over 3.5 at plus 110. Turning that minus price into a plus price with team total. I mentioned earlier with Boston, I did not want to do that. They're a team that I think will win low scoring. Carolina, I understand they're kind of in that same ballpark, but as I mentioned, those numbers that I read off are telling me this should be a high-paced game. So I think if Carolina wins, they get me 4 goals, guys. So we'll look at the team total here. So it sounds like so far on the show we want some fun games. We want some exciting games to watch here on a Tuesday. And as long as we get some goals, I'll be happy.
Yeah, Andrew, it's crazy because you look at, like you said, you look at that game. We can get there. 4-1 final gets us the money. What was the game yesterday? It was the
Buster's like,
Calgary
no,
game,
no.
I think. No, it was
I
the
want
Calgary
over.
game? Was it the Calgary game yesterday that I gave the exact score on? I said just bet it like 3-2 for either team, and it was like 18-1, and it was 25-1 the other way. Well, it finishes 3-1. In that Calgary and the Calgary and Florida game, 3-1. You can say it's close, but close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. So
That's true.
we'll count that pizza bet on the 3-2 exact score for either team as a loss. With that said, Don Buster, you're going to do a standalone game for us. Tell us what you have and which game you're doing, and fire away.
Okay, thank you very much, Carmine. It's been a while since we did one of these. Been fairly successful, so hopefully we can keep that up for everyone here. It's going to be a game that might not be a very popular play, but I'm playing the over in the Vancouver-Nashville game. It's over 6. And yes, I know it's going to be Demko and Saros, but this is just, I think it's a good spot for an over here. And I think there's value on this number at 6. This will be that dreaded third game in 4 nights for Vancouver, and they've been all on the road. And I think the defense will probably suffer for Vancouver tonight. When these teams get together, I know you'd think these two teams would be playing unders all the time. No, well, that'd be wrong. They've played 5 of the last 6 games to the over. Now let's look at Vancouver on the road. They are 8-1-1, their last 10 on the road to the over. Now we know Nashville is starting to play a bunch of unders, but we all talked about it on here for a while during the year that Nashville is a different team. They were playing a bunch of overs mid-year, and I know maybe they're just playing a little bit more defensively, but sometimes it's as they say in horse racing, it's horses for courses. And when some teams get together, they just play a different type of hockey. That's just the way it is. I got a couple more things that I like on why we're going to take this over. The last game that these two teams played was the end of October. It was a 5-2 Vancouver victory. Now, in that game, that total was actually 6.5. We get a 6 here. And these are things that you want to look for when you're handicapping NHL. When you see stuff like that, when you have value on a line and then you can add a whole bunch of other points, that's to me, this is how we do stuff, whether numbers or situational spots is what we do the best. And I think the number gives us value here. The other thing that we like, both these clubs, not too good on the penalty kill. Vancouver's number 24, Nashville number 23. As they say, the situation for Vancouver maybe has a lack of defense. These teams do play overs. Again, I think it's the right number to get over, and I think there's value there, and we are going to go Vancouver, Nashville over the 6.
We're following a trend today, Buster. We're cheering for some goals. Cheering for some goals. Let's go.
You guys are cheering for goals in the Vancouver-Nashville game, and I just told Sands in our live chat that I like the under in that game. So I'm against you guys. It's 2-1. You guys are both Hab fans. You come off a win yesterday in Winnipeg. So who am I to argue with you two guys on that one? Hey, listen, if I bet against the Montreal Canadiens pretty much every single game this season, you guys could win the President's Trophy and maybe make
I was going to say we might even win the Stanley Cup if you keep doing that.
To the Stanley Cup Finals. Listen, our chat is very active today. A lot of great comments in there. And listen, even the ones that question us every once in a while, I'm perfectly fine with those ones. It's not like it's the X. The X, I'm sorry, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Andrew, before I throw it to you, I got to say this. It's almost like a public service announcement. What is wrong with people? Your comments to other people, not even to me. I get a random, hey, Bianco, you suck. I just click on mute or whatever. If it's a guy who's not even a client, I click on block, talk to a wall. But the way in which people talk to women on Twitter is unbelievable. The hate that people like Kelly and Ariel get. Ariel, my friends came to New York and they couldn't even talk to her for the amount of knowledge that she has in Major League Baseball. My friends were frozen. They're like, how do I talk to her? She knows like everything, right? It's unbelievable. I'm in the vehicle with Kelly in Vegas, and she is so connected to so many people at sports books and high level bettors. She has so many contacts and knows so much about college and NFL and what have you. And these people on Twitter, they're just flexing. They're 12-year-olds ordering meatloaf from their mom in their basement. Anyways, that said, Andrew, let's get back to hockey. We got Vegas and sorry, we got New York and Toronto. I don't want to go off on another tangent. Old man yelling at screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys saw that article that was, or the news story that was about sports gambling for younger people impacting their dating lives. Maybe it's true. Maybe guys don't get out anymore and know how to talk to people because you guys think I'm young. The generation before me doesn't know how to talk to people. So it's worrisome, people's social skills, that's for sure, especially even online, that's for sure. But we have, like Buster said, Carmine picked all kinds of great games to mention. We've got New York and Toronto to get to in just 1 second. Of course, best bets at the end of the show. But a quick reminder to all of you, if you enjoy being here, talking in the live chat, commenting afterwards, let us know who you are betting tonight in the NHL. Comment below. Don't comment in the live chat about this, but comment after the video's over. Hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you want to show support to PuckTime, people might not know this, but it's kind of like an inner competition between shows. We have a little bit of an edge. We're the first show of the day, but we want to get more likes than Prez and Teddy on the Wager Talk Today show. We want to get more likes than the NBA show. So if you like our hockey show, show us some love, hit the like button. And of course, if you're interested in any plays today, they're all just $2. So if you don't usually buy plays, maybe today is a good day to test it out and see what it's like. And you can use it on as many people as you want, just $2. Regular price, $25 for a best bet. So a great day to try things out. And as mentioned before, these plays are not just today. Could be a football play on the weekend, could be Thursday night football, could be soccer, could be a lot of different sports. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. And I'm happy because usually it's one guy for $2 Tuesday. Today, everybody is $2 Tuesday, the $2 Tuesday guy. So it's a great deal here at wagertalk.com. Carm, this is going to be a great, great game here to end things off for us. We have a pick'em. New York and Toronto. This one, of course, takes place, though, in Toronto. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
So, just to clear up, guys, I am not a fan of Meatloaf the food. I just don't like it. But I do like Meatloaf the music. Now, with that said, guys, this is actually one of my client plays tonight on this game. The Leafs and the Rangers. Toronto went to New York and absolutely laid a beating on New York in a second of a back-to-back after they lost 4-3 in OT to the Islanders the night before. And Shesterkin was in goal in that one, and 7-3. The Rangers don't normally lose 7-3 on home ice. But how did the Rangers respond? They beat the Anaheim Ducks 5-1, and we've seen the Ducks. They not only did they go to New Jersey and beat the Devils, but then they beat the Red Wings as well, playing well. You look at it, and they win that game 5-1. Then they go to Boston, a place that is so tough to win. The Bruins are such a good team and beat them 2-1 in OT. This team's back on track, and what better revenge than to come to Toronto a week later and hand the Leafs a defeat? Sure, the Leafs scored 7 against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they scored 7 2 games prior to that against the Rangers, but they're also a team that they're like Jekyll and Hyde. Did I get that one right? Yeah, Jekyll and Hyde, where they allow goals. They allow 6 to Columbus, 5-0 lead for Columbus. They come back, score 5 goals, and they lose it in OT. They get a point, but kind of waste a comeback. Uh, the Leafs are shaky on defense at times, and this is one of those times where you don't want to be shaky on defense. I get it. Marty Jones got a nice shutout, but he is not going to be the goalie that is the savior of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Give me Shesterkin. Give me the Rangers. Minus 105 tonight. Revenge. They get the job done in Toronto. Don Buster, what do you think?
Well, Carmine, I will have to tend to disagree with that, although I do love that revenge factor. I usually play that a lot. This is another really tough handicap, really tough side. Toronto, only 115 and even a pick, I think Andrew said now. But that seems a little short to me. I thought they might be 125, 130 maybe. I don't know. They've been playing great at home. They've now won 8 of their last 10 at home. And the only 2 losses there, they were both in overtime to Boston and what Carmine just mentioned against Columbus. And as was just mentioned, Toronto gave New York a beatdown last Tuesday, 7-3. And they've actually won the last 3 games between these clubs. So Toronto might be getting their number a bit. Like I say, that instant revenge, we do like playing that. But truthfully, I just think there's too much to like about Toronto at home. And as everybody probably knows, Matthews didn't play on Saturday against Pittsburgh. He had a little illness. He'll be playing tonight, and he'll be good and fresh. And that might be a big help for Toronto to win this one here. So I do like Toronto here in this one. As for the total, I know we've been playing a lot of overs, but I actually lean to the under here, under the 6.5. Even though Toronto has gone over 7 of their last 8 games, New York's gone under in their last 5 games, except for 1. That was a beatdown last Tuesday, 7-3. Every other game has gone under for New York of late. Have to believe the Rangers and Shesterkin will play a much better on the defensive side of things. And the 6.5 just seems to be a number that we might be able to get under here. Another reason I really don't like the Rangers here is because they haven't been playing the best of late. They're 3-3 in their last 6. On the road, they're only 4-3, and they're a good club. But I think Toronto at home at this price, that's the play for me. Is Toronto at home? I do lean under.
Looking at Toronto and looking at the under.
Matthews,
oh no!
You said Austin Matthews is going to be fresh. You're not at like Costco or whatever buying mangoes. Whether he's fresh,
I go to the market to buy the mangoes.
He may score some. Listen, he may score some goals tonight. Who knows? We'll have to see. But the guy's coming off a flu, as is one of the defensemen, TJ Brody, and Brody just ate his first breakfast yesterday. The guy hasn't been able to hold down any food. The flu knocks it out of you, especially for these guys who are athletes. Whether he's 100%, both guys are 100% tonight. Remains to be seen. We'll see. But they used Benoit on the top line with Riley in practice. So we'll see if Brody even sees the ice tonight. We'll see. But I just love that fresh remark from you, man. It's like you're grocery shopping for Toronto Maple Leaf players. Oh, Austin Matthews, he looks fresh. Let's pick him up.
Hey, these guys are athletes, like you say. So I'm looking for him to be, get a day off like that, even though if he is sick. Look at those guys. They're young. They bounce back like nothing. There's no kryptonite for those guys. A guy like him, come on. It's not like he's 60 like me and you, Carmine.
He's pulling the Prez move on you, Buster. He's jumping all over you. That's what Prez did to me when Carmine was on the beach in Jamaica. That's what Prez was doing to me all week. Jumping all over my words. Everything I said, he was jumping on me. Fresh like the mangoes. When you live in Mexico.
I don't even like mango either, though. I don't even like mangoes. Mrs. Buster loves them, and they're fantastic. If you like mangoes, oh my God, they're really good. I don't like mangoes, but
so
anyways.
I'm gonna
you can
pull
break the tie here on this game. What do you think?
Yeah, well, this is what you always say, Buster. I'm gonna have to disagree, as Buster says, because
Okay. They're
I
ganging
don't
up
like
on you, are you?
Toronto. I don't like Toronto or the under. I like the Rangers team total over. So the exact opposite there. Give me the team total over for the Rangers over 3.5 plus 140. And people can call me greedy all they want, taking a pick 'em price into a plus 140. But the funny thing is, we've talked about the fact of the matter is Toronto has played well at home, and a lot of their losses or a lot of their games have gone, to overtime or have been a little bit tight. The thing is, a lot of times these games at home for them that they even have won, their opponent still has cashed in their team total. And the fact of the matter is, I love the revenge spot here. I don't love revenge spots every time, but when it comes to Toronto and a home and home, we talk about this every single week. The Maple Leaf players on a Saturday night and a Thursday night compared to a Tuesday night in that crowd, it's way different. The energy in the building, the energy the players have, the flu and the sicknesses going through that team, and the fact that the Rangers have not been playing like themselves recently, they get a chance to get some rapid revenge. And really, sometimes it's actually better to get some momentum and get going on the road than it is at home. People ask me sometimes why I choose the team total versus the money line. Well, one of the reasons is 4 of the last 5 wins for the Rangers, they've scored at least 4 goals. So if I believe they have a shot at winning this game, I like them to win it. Most of the time they do win games, they score 4 goals anyways. And the best part is they could lose 5-4 in this game, and I still cash this ticket. There's so much talent out there for the Rangers. I like this revenge spot here. And I do think that Toronto will give up a ton of shots like they have been. And if the Rangers get those chances, they will capitalize. So I'll take the Rangers team total over 3.5 plus 140. Great price there. We'll try and make some money. And guys, I'll save us some time. That's my best bet for the show. That's my best bet here on PuckTime for today. My $2 play that I have available is actually an NFL game. So you can get it today for a discounted price. However, that is not going tonight. That goes on the weekend. And then, of course, I have regular price NHL plays. And you can use that promo code TAKE20 to take 20% off any deal package going on right now at WagerTalk, whether it be a 3-day, 7-day, or a 90-day pass. You can use that promo code TAKE20 to take 20% off any package. But don't forget about those $2 plays, guys. Carm, over to you for what you have.
Yeah, so I have a lot of opinions on today's NHL cards. I've got 4 plays loaded, 3 of them in one package, and then I have a 5% play up as well too. You can get over at Wager Talk. Of course, the $2 customer appreciation is a play NFL play for Sunday, 19-2-2 NFL run. Inside that play, if you got it, I'm going to give out the code here, but there was a code NHL15 to get $15 off the 5% NHL play that goes tonight as well too. So I'm giving that code out on the show. As far as my free play, we got the free play yesterday with Alex DeBrincat. His birthday. I actually didn't even know it was his birthday last night, but he got over his shot total of 3.5. We're going with a guy who played last night and didn't do well in Pittsburgh, Joel Eriksson Ek, over 3.5 shots on goal. He's averaging 4.25 shots on goal in December. He's really amped up his shots on goal. 3.5 shots, minus 110 to the over. And I mentioned the Bruins allow the 6th most shots on goal. Mini in a bounce back spot here. I think we're going to see some goals tonight in this game, but at the very least, I think we're going to see quite a few shots on goal. So I'm going to take a shot prop here. Joel Eriksson Ek over 3.5 shots on goal, minus 110 as your show free play. And I wish you guys all the best of luck tonight. Don Buster, what do you got?
Thank you, Carmine. As you guys have been mentioning, it's a customer appreciation day, and a lot of plays up there for $2. We have NHL game for tonight. Our best bet of the night is up for $2, and we are hitting 75%. 12-4, our last 16 best bet NHL plays. So, and we also have a college football best bet up for that bowl game today. So maybe head over to the site, check that out, grab those plays. Our show play will be another first period puck line play. We lost our one last Tuesday. Really liked that play too, but just sometimes they don't work out. But we come back this today with another first period puck line play, and it's going to be LA Kings first period puck line plus 125 playing against San Jose. Now LA has been very good on the road, 12-2 on the season, and this will only be like their third game in over a week and a half. So the scheduler's been good to them. Hey, Carmine, LA should be good and fresh for this game right off the bat here. And we believe that they're going to come out firing and take an early lead. Give us LA minus a half, first period puck line. And thanks a lot, guys, for having me on the show. Great show today. Best of luck, everyone who's watching this, everybody in the chat, on all your plays today. And as always, here from Mexico, have a great day.
Well, it's always a great day for you in Mexico, isn't it, Buster? We can't all live in the sunshine.
Yeah,
Hopefully I'll get
nice
there someday. Great show today, guys. Three good games to mention. Buster standalone game, some best bets, a very active live chat. Please, guys, on the way out, hit the like button if you enjoyed this content. Hopefully we can catch some tickets. Plenty more shows coming up over at WagerTalk TV. WagerTalk today coming up at 12 o'clock Eastern time. That's it for today here on Puck Time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.